All right, welcome everyone. My name is Trisha Body, and I am the head of social impact and connectivity at Collaboratory, or the Southwest Florida Community Foundation. Today we are doing a Thrivability series, and we are going to be talking about the LeeCares Rehire Program. For those that are not familiar, the Thrivability by Collaboratory program curates homegrown experts, partners, and global gurus alike to support change makers in developing themselves and their organizations. As you guys know, you are a part of the critical infrastructure to our communities in Southwest Florida. So today we're going to talk about LeeCares, and we're going to talk about the new program that was just launched on Monday, July 6th. And today I am super excited because we have John Talmage, who is the director of the Lee County Economic Development Office, and he is going to be explaining a little bit more about this program. And then at the end, we're going to ask some questions of John. But thank you, John, so much for taking your time. I know you guys are really busy answering the phones and questions over there at the county office, but we're glad to have you.
Thanks, Tricia. Thank you for having me. So the Rehire program is the second phase of a business assistance program that we've rolled out over the past month. And we'll go into a little bit about the larger program in a second, but the Rehire program specifically is meant to encourage businesses to bring back employees that they had either furloughed or had to lay off over during the COVID event. And so if you're a business between 1 and 10 employees and you bring back 1 to 2 employees back that were previously laid off or furloughed, then you're eligible for a $10,000 grant. And if you're a business between 11 and 250 employees, you can bring back up to 4 employees for a maximum of a $20,000 grant. The employee is not available. You can fill that job with another person. But the point is to really try to bring people back right now, especially as people's PPP loans are beginning to expire, and we're going into the summer months where it isn't our largest hiring season. So we have enough money for about 4,000 employees to bring back to work, and we hope that the way that we're doing this will keep people employed during July and August.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a quick follow-up question to the 4,000. So is it first come, first serve? So as soon as the dollars are out, they run out?
It is first come, first serve. And the one thing we're being a little bit tough on is if you don't have a complete application, we'll deny you up front because we don't want those complete applications behind you, not to get their chance in the queue. So take your time, fill out a complete application. This will go on for several weeks. It's not going to all run out this week. We're not going to see 4,000 workers rehired today. So the important thing is to take your time, fill out the application completely. We're turning them around very quickly. We were able to turn around the relaunch grants in a matter of a week for most people. And so we expect to do the same thing and get that money to you as quickly as possible.
That's awesome. That's really good and helpful. A couple things to that. So can you explain a little bit of difference between the Rehire program as well as the relaunch program? Because I know that the relaunch no longer has any funds, but the Rehire obviously does because you guys just launched it. But what are the main differences between the two? And are you disqualified if you got relaunch dollars versus getting the Rehire dollars?
Absolutely. And let me first say the approach that we've taken about the CARES money to begin with was we put $72 million aside to try to comprehensively address what the workforce and the business community need to do to go back to work. And so we've been able to help about 8,000 people with rental and mortgage assistance to stabilize themselves. And then we moved into a PPE distribution. So we helped 1,500 businesses receive a summer's worth of PPE. So if you're a medical office or a dental office, you could reopen safely and with the confidence that your patients needed to have. We had a scholarship program so that if you needed childcare or summer care in order to go back to work, we made that available for the entire summer. And there's been about 2,500 workers that have been taking advantage of that. And then we had the first round of the relaunch program. That really was a $5,000 grant for those businesses that were required to close because of the governor's safer at home order. And so we wanted them to have some money to replenish their inventory, to buy additional cleaning supplies, marketing assistance that they needed, really whatever they wanted to do to reopen their business after they had been closed for a couple of months. And so that program has expired because right now you probably have reopened. And now that you're reopening, we want to make sure that we're bringing back our workforce. 63,000 Lee County residents applied for unemployment insurance over the last 3 months. And it's not clear how many of those have been rehired. Our unemployment rate today is 14%, but it's probably higher. It's a little bit of a moving target. So the goal is right now, as we begin to look at a future where the federal enhanced unemployment benefit expires this month, and the state unemployment benefits are going to become a little bit more arduous. You have to prove that you're looking for a job, and that the PPP loans are beginning to expire, so that those businesses are going to keep you on. That we're able to help a good number of those employees stay employed with their current employer, so we get to into the fall, and then the normal business cycle could take back over.
Yeah. So it's a great question about the PPP. So there are some specifications that if you got the PPE, you cannot apply. However, there are exceptions to it if you have used those loan dollars. Is that correct?
That's right. If your coverage period has expired, then you're eligible for this rehire grant, as well as, by the way, if you applied for the relaunch grant, you're also eligible for the rehire grant. And the reason that we're doing that, one, we don't want to encourage people double dipping in two programs for the same employee, but we also don't know for sure that in the future that the federal government may go back and say that anyone who received CARES Act dollars and used it for reemployment, that it could disqualify you in the future for your PPP forgiveness portion of your loan if you had another type of rehire program using the same dollars. So it's not the case today, but we're trying to protect each other in the future, just in case the Congress just changes the rules in the future. There will be a new PPP program in the near future. And so that we know there'll be new rule changes. They have new forgiveness applications that keep changing. So we're just trying to make sure everyone's protected going forward.
Yeah. No, that's one of the reasons why we keep having conversations with you, because there has been a lot of questions, and we know from the nonprofit community specifically, and you've talked a few times about PPE, that PPP. I always want to say PPE and PPP. We all do, right?
We do.
But there's always a lot of questions and a lot of moving parts. So I know that your office and Lee County has had a helpline that's been really helpful for people with questions. And I know that you also have an FAQ specifically about all of the programs, including your PPE program, as well as your childcare. So I would encourage, and I'm assuming you would too as well, for others to, go take a look if you have any FAQ questions, as well as feel free to call the office. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I'll just say two other things. We've been able to mobilize 200 county employees to work on this. So, we have a full-time, 7-day-a-week operation that's processing and operating the call center and it's been a terrific opportunity to work with librarians and transit drivers and parks workers to do this, to all get involved in economic development. But the other thing is we think we're the only county in the state that has truly opened up these programs to the not-for-profit community. And so, we in the past, we had to make the distinction about whether you were closed, so maybe social services agencies were not eligible, but this one, every 501c3 is eligible. And we really, and when you go to the application, we've broken out the not-for-profit application from the for-profit so that there's not as much confusion about tax documents and whatnot. So we want everyone that's eligible to apply for this. The not-for-profit community, their workforce is an essential part of our economy. We hate to make the distinction that they're two different types of businesses, because they all are businesses,
right,
in the best meaning of the word. And so we're trying to erase those distinctions and work through the community foundation and the collaboratory to really help lift up the community and help, because it's going to be hard for everyone to recover. And so it's going to, we need all the resources that we can for everybody. And so that's why we didn't want to make the distinction.
Yeah, you're talking about everyone shifting work. It definitely, there's a lot of shifting going on in this new COVID environment. So it's amazing to hear about librarians and others, participating now on a phone bank and helping out and stuff. But that's great. And I know that we all know that nonprofits are also shifting their work. But one of the main things that when people get grants, there are usually some reporting, aspects of it. Is there any reporting aspects to this dollars if you were to get the rehire grant?
No, right now, as long as you provide the documentation on the front end and we approve you, then you're free and clear to spend the money as you see fit. We prefer that you don't use it for refinancing or other sort of debt-based pursuits. But we're not going to come back and look. We we trust our business community. We trust our not-for-profit community to use the money the way it's meant to be fit. Now we will come back and look 2 months later. So the way I did, that's a good point. When we apply your first approved for the grant, you're given 40% of it up front. And then once you've retained that worker for, or that FTE for 2 months, you're given the balance. So we don't, we didn't want you to be in a situation where you rehired the worker and then found yourself, 3 months later, not able to retain them. We will work with you to do other things, but the goal is to keep that worker hired for 2 months.
And then lastly, because it's always important, because as you know, we're a regional community foundation, and we have other counties that we are honored to serve. This is specific for Lee County businesses, including the nonprofits. Is that correct? This is specific for Lee County based businesses and not-for-profits. But that said, we've been working with both Collier and Charlotte County on their own programs. They've received their own allocation of funds, and they look like they're going to follow our lead and create a very similar program in both counties. So we expect this to continue and to be more regional. We have a weekly phone call with all of my county peers to make sure we're coordinating and we're giving each other our own best practices. That's awesome. Well, we love when we all collaborate, right? We have a good word for it at Collaboratory. But you guys have a great FAQ that's on the website that answers a lot of questions. And like I said, I know you guys have your helpline up. So we obviously, if anybody has questions, that would be where you would go to encourage you to get those answered. But do you have anything else you'd like to additionally you have a bit of a nonprofit community who may see this. Is there anything else you'd want to add just to provide to them? No, I mean, we've had 33,000 applications started. And so it's been a tremendous effort and opportunity to know parts of the community we didn't know before. And so I really have enjoyed the opportunity to speak directly to 3,000 businesses over the last 3 months and get to know a business, parts of the business community I didn't know before. And I look forward to doing the same with the not-for-profit community as well. Oh, that's awesome. Listen, this is a very hard journey for all of us. And we really appreciate your time. I think you got to see my dog a few times. I did, and a cat somewhere too. Kind of like one of those videos that's on, CNN where the kid runs in, but we're all in this together, no joke, right? And we all get to see our animals and our kids. But I wanted to thank you for your time. I know you guys are really busy, and just let you know we appreciate all the work that you're doing, and just thank you for having the opportunity to kind of ask some questions today. Thanks, Tricia. I really appreciate the opportunity. All right. Thank you, John. Bye.